How's it going, everyone? It is Andre Williams, and over here we talk stocks and we focus on one thing. Always protect your profits. And today we're going to be talking about AMC. In my previous video, I was saying that I had the gap to fill in the mid $16 area. It ended up filling in that gap. So many people are asking me that question. Dre, where do you see it going for this week? Do you see it making that move back to 20? Well, you know what? We'll talk about it in this video. I won't waste any more time. Let's jump into the agenda. If you're new to this channel, I just want to let you know we have timestamps down below inside the description. But if you're a shareholder, you're thinking about taking a position, I highly suggest you watch this full entire video. So the first thing we're going to go over is a technical analysis. We're going to be taking a look at the overall price action. We want to know support. We want to know resistance. We want to know what it looks like in the bearish case scenario and as well as in the bullish case scenario. And then we're going to go on Fintel, taking a look at the recent institutional ownership and short interest information. The reason why this is important because it does have an impact on the way the stock performs. And then we're going to take a look at the order flow distribution. We want to know the buying and the selling behavior on the retail side and as well as on the institutional side. And then when all of that is done, we'll be going into the final thoughts and as well as some more details. So let's get to it. So we're going to do a technical analysis for AMC. Let's see how it performed on Friday. So it ended up closing at $17.97, being down 0.55%. On the low, it tested $16.22, and then on the high, testing $18.56. When we take a look at the volume stats on the day, you can see we traded at 65.186 million shares, and the average volume over 10 trading days is at 45.595 million shares. So we did have above average volume on the day, but of course we dealt with selling pressure since we did have a slight pullback. Now, when we take a look at our chart, which is the daily chart, we can see from the RSI down below being well in that oversold territory at 23.55. And then when we take a look at our moving averages here in the chart, we are below the 100-day, the 200-day, the 50-day, and as well as the 21-day EMA. And as you can clearly see, AMC is in a bear market. And in my previous video, I was telling you guys that we had a gap that needed to be filled, and we ended up filling that gap on the Friday when we tested a low of 16.22. So if we continue to see weakness inside of the market, then don't be surprised if you see AMC pulling back all the way to the $14.70 level. Again, we have to take into consideration AMC is not immune to what's happening in the market right now. Many stocks are pulling back. So if we see that continuation, it will happen with AMC. We can't forget that point. Now, if you're going to be looking for some strength or in regards to a reversal from AMC, like I always say in a lot of my videos, I love using the 21-day EMA as an indicator because if we can consolidate or a price action above it, then we can look forward to seeing some momentum for the most part. But in this particular situation, that means AMC needs to get back to $23.02. Is this possible? Most definitely. I feel like if we see some more strength in the market and we have more retail money coming in instead of exiting out, I think this is very possible. But if it still continues this downtrend, that's why I was saying I want to make sure you're prepared for that, and I'm going to make sure I give you what it is straight up. So far what it's looking, it's in a bear market. Let's see where it turns out as far as for the coming week. So we're going to take a look at the recent institutional ownership and short interest information for AMC. So as we scroll down further on the page, green rows indicate new positions while red rows indicate closed positions. So what we could see here for most recently for January 21st, we have a closed position from Global Retirement Partners LLC that closed out completely. And then when we take a look at Aaron's Investment Partners LLC that purchased 650 shares. Now when we take a look at the short interest, the dark pool short volume ratio is at 58.53%, and then for the dark pool short volume, it is just over 18.29 million shares. Scrolling down further on the page, the short shares availability is at 7.8 million, updated 28 minutes ago, and then for the short borrow fee rate, it is at 0.57%. When we take a look at the history of the short volume ratio, we can see for the close of January the 20th, it was at 60.56, and then for the close of the 21st, which was yesterday, it is at 58.53. So what this tells us, AMC does continue to have short squeeze potential. So now let's move on to the order flow distribution. Now let's take a look at the order flow distribution for AMC. So we see here on the inflows at 189 and then on the outflows at 179. So we ended up having an inflow day. Taking a look at the breakdown on the large, it was 0. On the medium, it was 122. And then on the small, it was 66.97. Taking a look at the outflow side, we can see on the large it's at 1.30. On the medium, it's 118. And then on the small, it was at 59.04. Keep in mind, these numbers are in the millions. Taking a look at the large scale orders in the last 5 days, you can see for January the 21st, so the Friday that just passed, it being at negative outflow of 1.3 million. Analyzing the numbers even further for the small scale orders that tends to represent the retail side, we had more buying than we had selling. So that is good to see, a lot of retail interest. And then when we take a look at what happened on the medium, we had more selling than we had buying. And then when we take a look at the large, which represents whales and so forth, it was that outflow of 1.30. So we had more selling than opposed than we had buying. And then when we take a look at the turnover ratio, it was at 12.68%. So yes, this is very high. We know there was a lot of selling that was going down, especially on that Friday. But one thing that is very clear, there is still demand in the market for AMC shares, and we can see this on the retail side. So now let's jump into the final thoughts, and we'll go over some more details as well. So for my final thoughts for AMC, if we continue to see weakness inside of the markets, AMC stock is going to continue to pull back. Depending on what this actually looks like, there's a potential chance we could start visiting in the mid $14 range. I know many of you are not going to want to hear that, but like I said in my previous video saying, well, you know what, look out for the mid $16 range, so around $16.50. Look, it ended up happening. Now I'm letting you know ahead of time that this stock can possibly go down into the 14s, so be prepared. As far as for a bullish reversal is concerned, AMC needs to come back to at least 20 bucks. It needs to visit that $20 range and then start making that move. I talked about it further inside of the technicals, but again, what would make this happen? We need to have more buying pressure coming into the stock. We do know there's still a lot of retail interest, but we need a lot more of that. And the reason being is we've seen a lot of stocks inside of the market have been pulling back quite a bit. And this is not the greatest thing to see, especially whether you're a retail investor or maybe you're just a trader, because again, you're going to be more cautious when it comes to taking positions. So if you have less money coming into a stock, what do you think is going to happen? You're having lower volume, people are selling, the stock is going to pull back. This is a natural thing. So again, we need to have that retail interest continuing to pour into AMC, but we need it at a higher level. Also, when we went on Fintel, taking a look at the short interest information, it still continues to have short squeeze potential. So this is why I'm saying the moment you have some buying volume coming into the stock, we can see those moves to the upside. And the market does decide to pick itself back up, then I'm going to assume that AMC should follow along with it. But like I said, I know I sound like a broken record. If it continues to pull back, that's exactly what's going to happen with this play. So if you are a trader, you can find opportunities in both directions. Overall, let's see how AMC performs for the coming week. There's going to be a lot of volatility. As you know already, we have the Fed meeting that is coming up. They're going to be talking about hiking interest rates. So there's going to be a very interesting time for this stock, and I'm going to make sure to keep you guys inside of the loop. Hope you enjoyed this video, and we'll be talking real soon. All right.